They said I had the schizoaffective disorder, which is between schizophrenia and bipolar. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be like all the other, teenagers. My name is Jessica Baggett. Hear my story. I was born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey by both parents. Music actually started for me when I was around like 7 or 8 years old. My grandfather, he sent me a keyboard. So he started teaching me how to play like blues notes, jazz. He loved jazz, loved the blues. So he taught me those type of songs. And then he taught me how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And let me tell you, I played that Mary Had a Little Lamb every day. Mary Had a Little Lamb, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I know it drove my family crazy, but I was excited because I was like, wow, I could play something on the piano that everybody knows. So music was like the core of how I started out. It was all about the music. When I was 16 years old, that's when things started to change a little bit. It was like this one night that changed my life forever. I woke up in the middle of the night and I started seeing like flashing lights, and the room was spinning around, and I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't pay too much attention to it because I thought maybe I was dreaming or I was just stressed out. I don't know. So a couple days after that, when I went to school, I started also seeing the lights again, and I was getting afraid because I didn't know what was going on. So as time went on, I had my first anxiety attack at home, and then we went to the emergency room and they said, well, maybe it was just anxiety, she'll be okay, things like that. So after that, things started getting worse because I started getting depressed and I started still seeing the hallucinations. So that was kind of where it all started, with the anxiety and depression. It all kind of started with the flashing, lights. So the breaking point of it, when I actually hit rock bottom, is basically I was harmful to myself. And just thinking about it gets me a little emotional, but I'm sorry. But I was harmful to myself. So I ended up at a pediatric psychiatric ward. And like, I remember when I first got admitted and we went upstairs and I kept saying, like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And then the nurse, she looked at me and said, well, none of these kids belong here. And when she said that, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? She's right. None of these kids belong there. So, and being there, seeing like all these kids with all these mental health problems, some of them worse than me, and that experience just like changed my life. Just being there changed my life. And I was only there for like 3 days, but it was tough being there. But at the same time, it made me feel like I'm not the only person or only, teen going through this. So even getting out the hospital, I still didn't get a correct diagnosis. People still didn't really know. They gave me medicine for the anxiety, but that was about it. They still didn't know what was wrong. And that was the hard part, not knowing. Because when you don't know what your diagnosis is, you can't be treated. So finally, when I went to a psychiatrist, they said I had the schizoaffective disorder, which is between schizophrenia and bipolar. You may experience symptoms of bipolar, you may experience symptoms of schizophrenia. It's like together, like all in one. So once I received the diagnosis, I was able to, if the hardest part is getting the right combination of medications. So for a while now, that was what the problem was, trying to figure out the right combination. So once they received the right combination of medications, then I was going to therapy and I started to feel a lot better, praying a lot, family, being surrounded by family, all my support systems, God, of course, praying for God to heal me. I'm not even gonna say I'm like cured, because there's no cure, but right now I'm in a good place where I consider myself not cured, but I'm in a good place, So I've beaten the odds, I would say, because most people, I want them to look at me as an example that you can accomplish great things if you're going through things. I wasn't supposed to graduate from high school on time, being that I didn't finish junior year, but I graduated on time. I graduated from college. I've written 4 books. So, I'm just living my life. And I think I've been through what I've been through to help other people. That's the reason why I had this, because I'm able to, even in my books or even when I do other things, it's all because I want to be, the voice of it, a mental health advocate. I want to be the voice of mental health. So that's my main goal right now. For those of you out there who are experiencing symptoms or have mental health issues, please get help. Do not be afraid to get help. It doesn't mean you're crazy or something's bad or is wrong with you. Just get help. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you get help, you'll be able to get the right combination of medications if needed and therapy. So, don't try to do things on your own. Just don't be afraid to get help.